The re-election of Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago with the overwhelming majority, beating his closest rival NRM's Dan Kaziwa, popularly known as Ragadi, completed the clean sweep by the opposition of elective seats in Kampala. Earlier, the opposition also whitewashed NRM when it took the 2 parliamentary seats NRM members held in Kampala. The opposition now holds 8 of the 9 parliamentary seats in Kampala. Former NRM rebel MP Muhammad Nsereko of Kampala Central regained his seat on an independent ticket, but he doesn't hide his ties with the opposition. Shortly after the Electoral Commission announced that President Yoweri Museveni had been re-elected, he blamed the NRM loss in Kampala on what he called the poor work methods of Kampala Capital City Authority, led by Executive Director Yoweri Museveni. The president, who addressed journalists at his country home in Rachtura, Chiruhura district, said vendors were removed from the streets in an inconsiderate manner.
Madam Musisi was doing the correct thing of introducing order in the city by removing hawkers from selling on the pavements and so on, which was correct. But the mistake was in not, first of all, sensitizing them, telling them the why,
This was in sharp contrast to the president's earlier statements, where he heaped praise on Musisi, saying her and her team had tremendously transformed the city. He also said she was incorruptible. While vote hunting in Kampala during the presidential campaign trail, the president promised to ensure that Kampala residents are not harassed by KCCA. The predicament Musisi and her team at KCCA face underscores the tricky balance a technocrat has to make between politics and what they have to do while in office. Professor Julius Kiiza of Makerere University Department of Political and Public Administration says President Museveni is being unfair to Yoweri Museveni and her team.
And that generally you are seeing an atmosphere where urban governance is improving. So it is possible for the president to see that. But during campaigns, I'm quite confident that the president was concerned about the loss of support for the party in power, especially by people who were pinched, who were negatively affected by the improvements in Kampala City. And these, the vendors, of course, are voters.
Professor Kiiza, who agrees that the city has been transformed under Musisi's stewardship, faults politicians for not giving the KCCA a team helping hand.
The president should have embarked on the idea of creating a buy-in strategy. By creating a buy-in strategy means you deploy officials to explain to the people before you implement reforms what's happening. You deploy a social scientist, a social worker, a sociologist to talk to the communities in the slums, to the communities in the place you want to transform, whether it is Katwe, whether it is Owi.
The political science Dawn says there should be a win-win situation where vendors, for instance, are sensitized on how they benefit from changes in the city.
And when you do that, you win them over. And when you are implementing tough reforms, you begin by creating alternative spaces for the business, informal business owners to know that they can work in a better place temporarily. And as you develop an improved space, whether it's a market or an improved road or whatever infrastructure, then you create a negotiation strategy that allows you to win over people who would have resisted your intervention.
With the re-election of Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago to City Hall, Kampala residents can only hope that KCCA team, the presidency, Lukwago and the councillors work together to deliver services and avoid stalemate of the 2 last years. More research all NTV.